Hello everyone, welcome to BISP Solutions. So today we will be learning about configuration, planning and end-to-end implementation, which is migration from QuickBooks to NetSuite. So first of all, we will be learning about what we learned in our previous sessions. And if you are new to this video, so what we are discussing in migration of data from QuickBooks to NetSuite. So we are transferring QuickBooks data to NetSuite because as QuickBook is meant for small and medium-sized businesses, which often begins their financial management journey with QuickBooks due to simplicity, affordability, and ease of use. However, as these businesses grow and their operations become more complex, QuickBooks struggles to accommodate advanced requirements. So challenges like limited scalability, lack of real-time reporting, insufficient integration capabilities and inadequate support for multi-entity management hinder operational efficiency and decision making. So to address these limitations, businesses must transition to a robust and scalable solutions like NetSuite. So NetSuite, which provides a integrated cloud-based platform where it supports complex financial processes like multi-subsidiary management, real-time analytics, and seamless workflow automations, so which enables businesses to streamline operations, enhance productivity, and scale effectively to meet future growth demands. So this migration ensures that the business can sustain its growth, remain competitive in a dynamic market, and achieve a higher return on investment through efficient resources utilization and improved decision making. So that's why data from QuickBooks are going to migrate in NetSuite application. So what we are doing in this module, so first we will be implementing, which means setting up and deploying a new system or software from scratch, for example installing a new ERP system. Then we are going to integrate, which means connecting different systems to work together smoothly, for example linking accounting software with a CRM. Then migration, moving data or applications from one system to another, for example shifting from on-premise servers to the cloud, as NetSuite is a cloud-based service. So till now what learnings we have done, so we got to know why we are migrating from QuickBooks to NetSuite, and we understood the limitations of QuickBooks. We also understood what are the benefits of migration from QuickBooks to NetSuite in our previous sessions, and objective of our implementation process, and SDLC, which is software development lifecycle. We have discussed phases of SDLC having, and SDLC modules, and business requirement gathering, and understanding scope and objectives of business requirement gathering. And we also understood the definition of functional requirements, technical requirement, and we also understood and saw BRD document. We used some standard format, as we know that there is no standard format like that, but we take it as a base to create a BRD for taking all the key points which stakeholder mentions to us for preparing migration. Then we also prioritize the requirement of stakeholders. Then we also maintain clarity and traceability from our stakeholders. Then we reviewed our document and updated regularly to our stakeholders. Then we understood this project scope and key components of the scope of project, and we understood what data to be migrated. Then we understood the customization and integrations of project and milestones which we will be achieving by by dividing it into some small parts so that they can be worked out easily. And we established timelines and resource allocations for the same, and we understood the best practices which is meant to be there, and we understood the tools and resources which is involved here, and we understood establishing timelines and resource allocation, which we understood also. Then we understood the phases it is having, and example timeline we also saw, and resource allocation tips also we understood. Then starting with an overview of FDD, which is functional design document. So what is FDD? FDD is a functional design document which is a critical deliverable in an end-to-end implementation project, which means, like, if we are making FDD, it is for mentioning all the process involved in data migration and how can we make accounts in NetSuite. So these much are involved in FDD designing. So we also understood by checking the FDD document, which is a base document which we can create as per our company provides us. Then we also understood the key components of FDD, which is executive summary, project scope, business requirements, functional overview, and detailed functional specification. Like this we have understood in this particular session, like functional overview, integration design, and sign off and approval, which is the last stage, and security and compliance, customization and configurations, and assumptions and constraints. Like this we also understood in making FDD. So here we will be understanding key components, what key components are involved in FDD, which means testing approach, assumption and constraints, security and compliance is there, customization and configuration is there. So we understood the key components of the FDD same. Then why FDD is important for us to make? It is for the clarity after we have made a BRE document, and reference point as per our stakeholders, and alignment to our stakeholders requirements, and these all things makes our FDD less of errors, which means it minimizes the risk of getting rejected. Then designing of chart of accounts, it means like designing a chart of accounts is a critical step in implementing any ERP system, including Oracle NetSuite. A well-structured COA ensures accurate financial reporting, simplifies reconciliation, and supports business decision making. So in chart of accounts, main elements are assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, expenses, like that. Then what steps we completed for designing our chart of accounts? So first of all, we will be understanding business requirement, what our business requires for making COA, which is chart of accounts. Then comes our defining COA segments. COA segments means like the accounts in which all the accounts will be made, like assets, liabilities. Under assets, what are the accounts which we will be putting in our NetSuite. Then we will be establishing a numbering system, which means like 1000 we are giving for assets, then 2000 for liabilities, then 3000 for our equity, 4000 for our expenses, and 5000 for revenue, and 6000 for our miscellaneous expenses, like that, which is not included but are entered or there in balance sheet. So we established a numbering system for making COA. Then we created account categories for which these accounts or the migrated accounts will come under. Then we will incorporate sub accounts, then align with reporting standard. Then we will be set up account descriptions, and we incorporate ERP capabilities, and also we simplify and optimizes the data from QuickBook, and then we will be reviewing the same and validating the same with the data we got from QuickBooks. Then best practices for designing our COA. First is consistency, then flexibility, then it provides scalability to us, and there is minimal duplication and a localization for COA designing. Let's suppose, for example, simple COA structure I have provided here. Like account number we are providing 1000, and account name is cash and cash equivalents, and account type is asset. And in 1010 it is for account receivable, which is also an account type is asset. Then we have provided 1100 for inventory, so it is also considered in account type asset. So in 2000, which I already mentioned earlier, that liability we are taking as 2000, and account name we are providing here as accounts payable. Then 3000 for retained earnings, which is a part of equity. Then 4000 for revenue, like sales revenue or income generated from selling any items at profit, so it will be considered in revenue. Then 5000 for cost of goods sold, COGS, for expenses. Then 6000 for salaries expenses, which is then also an expense. Then 6100 for rent expense, which is an expense only. So which I already mentioned that we will be considering after 5000 for miscellaneous expenses or the expenses which are there but not like we have to enter it in the above account types. So this is a simple COA structure from which we can understand in which account number, in which account name, and in which account type we have to enter the particular QB data. Then we understand the existing COA in QuickBooks, where we will be exporting the COA from QuickBooks. Then we will be reviewing account types available in QuickBooks. Then we will consolidate the duplicates. Then we will understand, we already understood that NetSuite COA structure, where NetSuite supports parent-child hierarchy for accounts, enabling better categorization. Like suppose there are 5 account types where assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses are there. So if we are categorizing some, let's suppose we are taking expenses, so we mention heading as miscellaneous expenses. This is a parent thing. For child, it will be like raw materials are coming in our business, or some stationery is coming in our business, or etc. like that will be coming under miscellaneous expenses. So here we can see parent-child hierarchy. So parent is our miscellaneous expenses and child will be stationery and raw materials or repairing like that is considered in parent-child hierarchy. So aligning account types. So aligning account types, it means like in assets we will be mentioning cash, property, equipment, vehicle, accounts receivable. In liabilities, we will be mentioning bank loans, accounts payable, credit cards, unearned revenues, customer credits. Then equity, owner's drawings, contribution, common stocks, retained earnings are involved in equity only. Revenue, which I already mentioned, in revenue we will be taking sales, royalty, cost of goods sold, like that. And in expenses we will be taking wages, rent, phone bills, utilities. We will be align account types as per these types only. Then we will be cleaning and optimizing the COA, which means we will be simplifying the hierarchies as we got from QuickBook, and we will be simplifying the hierarchies for our NetSuite only. Then we will be standardizing naming conventions for the same. Then we will, how can we create accounts in NetSuite? So we will be importing tools in NetSuite. Then we will be assigning proper account numbers for the data which we had got from QuickBooks. Then we will be checking account preferences for the same. Then validating the mapping. How can we validate the mapping? So we can see in our trial balance reconciliation, and then we will be running test transactions also. So this is how we can make and validate the mapping. Then accounting for multi-subsidiary needs. It means if we are operating in multi-subsidiary environment, so mapping the COA to ensure it aligns with NetSuite's one world structure for enabling proper financial consolidation. Then comes our historical data handling. So migrating historical by mapping them to the corresponding NetSuite accounts. So we use tools or third-party connectors for seamless data transfer. Then coming to our today's agenda, so we will be learning about subsidiaries, then steps to plan subsidiary hierarchy, defining roles and permissions, steps to plan roles and permissions, then migration process for hierarchy, roles and permissions, then what are the best practices for subsidiaries and planning roles and permissions. Then we will be understanding what are the benefits of proper planning. Then introduction to NetSuite modules we will be understanding. Then end-to-end implementation workflow, how we can do end-to-end implementation workflow, which is migration of data from QuickBook to NetSuite. And then what are the benefits of end-to-end implementation, why we are doing this end-to-end implementation project. So starting with our first is meaning of subsidiary. So a subsidiary is an entity that operates under a parent company and is treated as a separate financial or operational unit in NetSuite. So each subsidiary can have its own chart of accounts, currency, tax regulations, financial reporting requirements, user and permission. Then comes our understanding subsidiary. So first we will be defining subsidiary hierarchy, where in NetSuite subsidiaries represent separate legal entity or branches within a parent organization. Each subsidiary can have its own currency, tax settings and reporting structure. Then comes our steps to plan subsidiary hierarchy. So first we will be analyzing current structure in QuickBooks, which means we will be reviewing how accounts and entities are organized in QuickBook, and then we will be identifying parent and child entities. Then comes our designing the hierarchy in NetSuite. So it means establishing a parent subsidiary relationships that reflects our organizational, legal and operational structure. For example, parent company, we will be making heading of parent company. Then coming under parent company, there will be a subsidiary A, subsidiary B and subsidiary B1, which is a child of subsidiary B. So this is how we can make parent subsidiary relationship. Then comes our considering multi-currency needs, where we will be assigning currencies to subsidiaries based on their operating regions. Then enabling consolidation reporting, which means we will be ensuring the hierarchy supports consolidated financial statements including intercompany transactions. Lastly, setup text and localization settings, which means we will be configuring text codes and compliance requirements for each subsidiary. Then we will be defining roles and permissions. So roles control user access and define what a user can view or edit within NetSuite. So steps to plan roles and permissions. So first comes our understanding roles. Then what are the steps for planning roles and responsibilities? So first will be analyzing existing roles in QuickBooks, which means we will be identifying current user roles and permissions in QuickBooks, which for example means accountant, admin. We provide rules to them for viewing some data. So like that we will be analyzing existing rules in QuickBooks. Then after analyzing we come to mapping roles to NetSuite. So there we will be determining equivalent roles in NetSuite. For example, let's suppose QuickBook admin is NetSuite administrator and QuickBook accountant is NetSuite accountant role. Then comes our customizing roles in NetSuite, where we will be using custom roles to tailor permissions based on business needs. For example, restrict access to specific subsidiary or sensitive financial data. Then comes our assigning permission, where permissions can be set for modules, for example CRM, inventory or actions. For example, viewing, editing, approval. We will be assigning roles and permission for each department. For example, a sales role can view customer data but cannot edit financial records. Lastly, testing roles and permission, where we will be validating that users have access to necessary features without over permissioning. Next, migration process for hierarchy roles and permission. So step 1, we will be pre-migration assessment will be there. So we will be reviewing organizational structures, user roles and access level in QuickBooks. Also we will be identifying gaps or redundancies in roles in migration process for hierarchy roles and permission. Then step 2 involves our data preparation, where we will be preparing a subsidiary hierarchy structure in a spreadsheet for easy import in NetSuite. Also we will be documenting existing user roles and permissions for mapping. Step 3 involves our subsidiary setup in NetSuite. So we will be navigating to NetSuite application. So there we will be navigating to setup. Then under setup we will be getting to company, and under company we will be getting subsidiaries in NetSuite. So we have to create the parent company and adding subsidiaries to it. Then we will be configuring settings such as currency, tax ID and intercompany accounts. Then step 4 involves configuring roles and permission. So for that we will be going to navigate through NetSuite application, where setup we will be navigating to setup option. Under setup we will be going to users or roles option. Then under users or role option, we will be managing roles in NetSuite. After that, we will be creating or modifying roles with appropriate permissions, and we will be assigning roles to user and specify subsidiary access. Then step 5 is testing and validation. So we will be conducting user acceptance test to verify the subsidiary hierarchy and role configuration. Then comes our go live and monitoring. So we will be monitoring the system after going live to ensure proper subsidiary reporting and functionality and role functionality, and then we will be adjusting roles and permissions as necessary based on feedback. What are the best practices for the same? First, we will be maintaining least privilege access, which means assigning users the minimum permissions needed to perform their task. Then documenting roles and responsibilities, where we will be maintaining a detailed record of roles, permissions and their mappings. Then we will be using segregation of duties, SOD, where we will be avoiding conflicts by separating rules that manage approvals, transactions and audits. Then comes our regular role audits. We are periodically reviewing roles and permissions to ensure security and compliance should be done. Then benefits of proper planning, where it involves improved reporting, which means accurate subsidiary hierarchy, which ensures consolidated and localized financial reporting. Enhanced security, where role-based access minimizes the risk of unauthorized actions. Scalability, where a well-designed hierarchy supports business growth and new subsidiary additions. So this is how we can make roles and permissions and can plan subsidiary hierarchy roles and permissions. Then comes an introduction to NetSuite modules. So in NetSuite modules, NetSuite modular structure allows businesses to configure and use features tailored to their needs. So we will be understanding how and what are the modules involved in NetSuite. So first of all, financial management module is there. So what is the purpose of financial management module? It is to manage financial operations, which ensures compliances and provides financial insights to the end user. What are the key features for the same? Journal ledger provides the full data. Accounts payable and accounts receivable provides data. Then budgeting and forecasting, tax management, multi-currency and multi-book accounting. It all provides financial operations and provides financial insights, that what is the sale or purchase, or what are the bills or invoices need to be prepared, like that. Then comes our CRM, which is customer relationship management module. The purpose for the same is to track customers' interaction and improve customer satisfaction. Key features involve leading and needs and opportunity management. It enters in CRM software. Then customer service management, marketing campaign management and customer support case management, which are entered in CRM portal or CRM module only. Then comes our order management module. So the purpose of order management module is to automate the order to cash process for faster and error-free order fulfillment. Key features involves is sales order processing, order fulfillment, returns management and pricing and promotions. Then comes our inventory and warehouse management module. The purpose is to optimize inventory levels and ensuring efficient warehouse operations. Key features for the same is inventory control and planning, bin management, cycle counting, supply chain management. Then procurement module, which is the purchasing module, where the purpose is to manage procurement processes from purchase requisition to vendor payments. Key features for the same is to purchase order management. First feature is there, then vendor management is there, vendor bill approvals is there, and contract management is there. After that, end-to-end implementation workflow is there. So in that, first is requirement gathering. So requirement gathering is to identify business needs and mapping them to NetSuite modules. Then solution designing, which means configuring modules to meet specific business requirements. Then data migration is for importing legacy system data into NetSuite, for example financials, customers, inventory, like that. Then customization, which means developing custom scripts and workflows using Suite Script and SuiteFlow. Then integration, which means connecting NetSuite with the third-party application, which is if required in the business. Then comes our testing, where we will be performing unit, system and user acceptance testing. Then training is there. So in training, we will be training end users on module and functionality, and we also provide them a user guide so that they can, if they get stuck in between, then they can take a help of that user guide. Then comes our go live, which means deploying the system and monitor performance. And lastly, we will be providing some support and optimization, which means providing post go live support and refining processes. So this is what introduction to NetSuite modules cover, and we also discussed about the roles and permission and hierarchies which are involved in planning for the same. Just for an example, again I am showing FDD document to you all, just to get a clear picture of what we are making in FDD document. So this is our front page. It will be designed as per your company. Then we will be providing contents page, where we will be assigning all the list of topics like introduction, scope, assumption and constraints, data mapping, workflow with flow charts. We will be providing for journal ledger, accounts payables, accounts receivables, and then testing and validation plan will be there, and then sign off from the stakeholders. So after second page, we will be going to our third page, where we will be understanding documenting control. So whenever we have a meeting with stakeholders, if they tell us about changing any particular thing in the FD document, then we will be mentioning here in revision history with date and the name of stakeholder or our team manager or some employee for our understanding that in this particular date this person told me to change or to add something in my document. And also we will be providing designation for the same. After then, reviewers. So for FD document, who is reviewing your document, and we will be mentioning date here and then name and designation for the same. Then approval, if our stakeholder approves our FDD project or FDD document, so we will be providing date here, then name of the stakeholder and designation for the same. Then comes our introduction for why we are making FDD. which is for migrating financial data from QuickBooks to NetSuite, which covers GL, AP, AR modules. And it also provides them data migration, data mapping, and validation methods to ensure seamless transition and data integrity for the same. Then why we are making, what is the purpose of document? So it provides detailed information on how the system solution will function and the requested behavior will be there, and we are creating this document on the high level requirements identified in the business requirement document, which is BRD, and which provides traceability on the functional specification back to the business requirement. What is the project scope? Here we will be migrating historical and open transaction from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Then modules we are covering here in FDD is GL, AP, AR, and we ensure that all migrated data aligns with NetSuite chart of accounts, subsidiaries, and transaction flows. This is our project scope in end-to-end implementation or migration of data from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Then what are the assumptions we are taking? That both systems have consistent fiscal calendars. Data cleansing will be completed before migration from QuickBooks to NetSuite. Then QuickBooks data export will be provided in CSV or Excel format. Then solution overview, we are migrating the data from source application QuickBook to target application NetSuite. In this solution we will be giving the solution on the following: workflow facility, approval facility, role-based access facility, save searches facility, data visualization, automated email, and bulk file upload facility. We are providing assumptions to the stakeholders, and also for these assumptions we are providing solution for the same. Then we will be starting with our GL workflow process, where we will be entering all the steps which will be involved while making journal ledger. So first it will be starting with data entry or transaction creation. Then journal entry will be manually or automated journal entries will be recorded. Then approval process will be done. Transactions are reviewed and approved by system itself. Then posting is done, where approved journal entries are posted to the journal ledger. Then reporting, financial statements are generated after in NetSuite. What is done once the journal entry is made in NetSuite, we don't have to create all the financial reports like trial balance, balance sheet, or income statement, cash flow statement. We just have to enter the journal ledger in NetSuite. Then automatically trial balance, balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement are created. So after that, audit and compliance will be there, where ensuring adherence to regulation and audit trails will be done. Then ending is data is stored for future reporting. So here we can see GL workflow is there, where start is the starting of workflow process, where the process begin with recording financial transaction. Then journal entries creation will be done, where manual or automated is done. If manual or automated, if there is yes, then proceed. If there is no, then rechecking the transaction details will be done. Like that we will be making workflows so that end users can get a clear picture. Then purchase to procure process workflow, which is P2P cycle, where we will be starting with receipt of vendor invoice. Then purchase order matching, where we will be matching invoice with PO and purchase order and receiving data for the same. Then we will be getting approval of invoice. Then payment processing will be starting. Then we will be posting it to journal ledger and update accounts payable ledger also. Then reporting, where Reports will be generated on accounting, outstanding and processed payments is provided. Then in end, we will be marking invoice as paid and update vendor balance. Then comes our workflow for the same. If purchase requisition is done, then a purchase requisition is created by the requester outlining the required goods or services and quantity. We provided all the meanings so that they can get a clear picture why purchase requisition is done and why purchase requisition is created and what is the meaning of purchase requisition, like that. Then approval, why we are doing approval of purchase requisition, why we are creating purchase order, so that the end user get a knowledge from the scratch that why we are doing every single thing and what is the meaning of these particular statements and why it is necessary. So in a workflow we have provided each and every detail so that they can not get any problem while doing UAT. So after that, order to cash process workflow will be done, where we will be starting with sales order invoice generation, then invoice submission, where we will be sending invoices to our customers, then payment receipt, receiving payments via various channels like bank, credit card, like that, then reconciliation, matching payments with invoices, then posting record payments in the GL and updating AR ledger. In our above P2P cycle, we have updated AP ledger. In order to cash workflow or O2C cycle, we will be updating AR ledger. Then we will be collecting management, where we will be following up on overdue payments will be done. Then reporting, where we will be generating aging reports and AR performance metrics. And in ending, we will be updating customer balance and closing the invoice. So this is the workflow, where we will be starting with order entry. So in order entry, what is done? Sales order is created in NetSuite. Then after order entry, credit check will be done, where credit is verified, which is an optional step based on company policies. Then order fulfillment is done, where inventory check and picking is done, shipping and delivery of goods will be done. After order fulfillment, invoice creation is done, then billing, then payment processing, then cash and receipt, then account receivable, like updating accounts receivable ledger, and then ending the workflow. Then comes our warehouse management system process workflow, where we will be starting with order creation, where sales order or transfer order is given. Then picking, where we will be assigning and completing picking tasks based on inventory location. Why we are mentioning every single detail on paper? So that if not us, but if another person is viewing or checking our FDD, he or she will get a knowledge of what we are doing in our project of migration and what we have created for our end users. So this is what WMS process workflow involves, where WMS means warehouse management system process, where we will be starting with our order creation, then picking, packing, shipping, inventory management is done, then reporting, where we will be generating reports for order status and inventory levels. Then we will be ending, it means we will be confirming order fulfillment and shipment. After that, what reporting requirements we have done, like our client's requirement, we will be stating here, like he or she wants CSV Excel PDF and all should be downloaded. Then report should be sent to their email after a particular time interval. Then client employee should be able to customize the reports, and this facility is available in saved searches also. Then facility to integrate with Excel and other software should be given. Then customizing layout of the invoice and other documents is created. So why we have mentioned here? Because we have provided all the details which our clients want from us. So reporting tool, we are using built-in financial tools where user navigation is ready to use, customizable to meet specific reporting needs. Data source is income statement, balance sheet and cash flow statement. Who uses this particular tool is CFOs, controllers and finance manager. This particular tool is used by head of our business. Then suite scripts and custom reports, which is fully customizable, which integrates with external data sources if required. Then it is a script-based customization for complex or non-standard financial reporting needs, and it is generally used by NetSuite developers and technical analysts. So this is the reporting tools bifurcation we have provided to our stakeholders. Then we provided data migration plan also, where we will be migrating the data from source system to target system, where first of all file downloads from the staging area. Is data sufficient? If no, then we will be asking the client to provide the sufficient data, providing the list to the client which is not there in our application. Then again we will be going to our files download from staging area session. Then if yes, then data file is cleaned and massaged, making it meaningful and error free. Then it will be going to data files broken into parts based on the capacity allowed, then uploading the files in the target system. So we will be providing data migration steps so that they can get a synopsis that what we are going to do in data migration process. Then what system configuration we are going to use for operating system. We have to provide all the details of our system from which we are going to do this project. Then what are the hardware involved in this process. Then browsers we are using for multiple steps. Then reporting requirements. So what we have provided above we mentioned here also. And then we will be sharing integration requirement, where application to application integration is done, application to Excel integration is done. Then exception or error reporting, where whenever the bulk files are uploaded, then usually some errors comes and this error is given by NetSuite. So for this we have to do error reporting for the same. Then we will be providing our thank you statement with our address, and we will be mentioning a statement that if you would like to proceed with our proposal, then you can sign the first page and return a copy to us by fax, email or post. In any case, please feel free to call us to discuss the quote, request more information, or for any other reason. We look forward to hearing from you soon. This is a very formal statement for ending the FDD document, so that if there's any error or revision to be made, they can provide us from this document only. This is how FDD we can create, and we also need to understand how we will be exporting COA from QuickBooks. So This is how we can export COA from the QuickBook and how the data will look like. This data is raw right now, and we have to do massaging and all, so that these blank spaces will be deleted and we get the data which is required to us. Then comes our NetSuite COA structure. So in NetSuite, what heads we are using for or what NetSuite provides for getting data. So this is the heads of NetSuite, and what are the accounts involved in the same is given here. Then after that, aligning account types. So for mapping heads and all and massaging the data, first we have taken QuickBooks COA in a in an Excel sheet. Then in another sheet we have taken NetSuite COA. Then we have compared the heads of both the application, and we have taken those accounts which or head which are common in both the application. Then we have creating final mapping heads where we will be customizing if not available in NetSuite. Then according to this heads we will be taking all this data from here to here, from first to the last, with these mapping heads. Like suppose we are taking this, we are copying the same, and then we will be transposing here, and according to this we will be transferring the QuickBooks data. So for account we have taken this whole, then we paste it here. Then we want type also, then we will be selecting the same, then pasting here. Then we want currency, so we are taking this currency, pasting the same, and then we will be copying the balance. So we will be taking this balance and pasting here. Then if there is any description for the same, we will be copying the same thing like we have done previously also. Then number is for account number in QuickBooks. We can take as per our also. Then this is the data we have modified and simplified for our understanding. So this is how these all things will look like. And in our NetSuite, it's US dollars. So as per our NetSuite, we will be changing here. We can change it in our final sheet. So we can name it here as null sheet for uploading. This is how we can do mapping heads from QuickBooks to NetSuite, and we can create final sheet for uploading. So for today, we understood the planning, the subsidiary hierarchy, roles and permission, which is critical to success for a business to migrate from QuickBooks to NetSuite migration. With a thoughtful approach, we can ensure seamless operations, maintaining data security and enabling efficient collaborations across our organization. So as you plan your migrations journey, so remember that choosing the right tools and systems can make all the difference in achieving your business objectives. So I hope this webinar has provided you with the clarity and confidence to take the next steps. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day ahead.